My name is Nis Benn. I come from Hyme Energy. We're based in Copenhagen, and I'm a founder of the company, one of two, and today I serve as the Chief Commercial Officer. Well, Hyme Energy, we develop energy storage solutions to decarbonize industrial process heat. And industrial process heat accounts for around 30% of global energy use, of which 90% is still fossil fuels. So a huge challenge to be solved, and we hope to be part of that solution. We already know in society how to produce cheap energy at times, at least, which is renewable energy. And what we do is, instead of having this problem of integrating renewable energy, we try to utilize that problem and turn it into an opportunity for industry. So what we do is our systems, which are energy storage systems, take cheap intermittent renewable energy when it's available, store it in the form of heat, and then we dispatch that again on demand, typically 24/7, into the industrial site where it needs to be used. Well, we borrow from what already exists as one thing. So we take a basic design of molten salt energy storage that has been known from the concentrated solar power sector as one thing that we do. The other thing is that we have then developed a new type of storage medium to deploy in this basic design that already exists. That storage medium is lower cost and gives, in the end, lower system costs and higher efficiency systems, which allow us to do this at a competitive cost to fossil fuels in the end, meaning that you can suddenly deploy renewables at lower cost than you could with fossil fuels. I think it's because they're not expert chemists, and I'm also not an expert chemist, but we've built on patents that are developed in labs over 7 years now to control and suppress the corrosion mechanisms in these storage media. And through a couple of discoveries of technological and scientific character, we end up being able to suppress and manage the corrosion of these salts to levels where they are deployable in commercial systems without basically eating away the structural materials too fast for the payback to occur. So with controlled corrosion, with our IP, we are basically able to build long living systems that will allow industrial players who buy them to get their payback. Yeah, well, our broad team is now 40 people. There's a mixture of backgrounds, but solar thermal, the technology that we're also building a part of our design on. So people that have done it before. Some oil and gas professionals that are also used to super difficult environments, making systems that are high temperature work well. So those are the two main backgrounds that we combine on the technical side, along with our chemist R&D team, where we've been lucky to be able to acquire talent from across the globe of a very niche type of character. And then in our leadership team, it's me and my co-founder who are leading the company, along with our CTO and a couple of others in a 5-person executive team that do our best to have a flat culture, and so we can be agile and people can take decisions on the fly according to the milestones that we need to reach. Well, I don't think I can count them anymore, but so we had initially, of course, succeeding with tech development as our main challenge. It was also our main opportunity. And we're now at a place where we've commissioned our technology demonstrator. So we've moved pretty far with that challenge, and I think we're starting to be able to tick that off and look more to commercializing technology than to completing technology development. But on the other challenges, I would say actually transitioning from just being a very small team initially of 7 people, to now 40, is the first challenge that doesn't really just solve itself by thinking creatively about it. It's making sure that everybody is on the same page, but where we're starting to have more specialized staff and keeping all of that in an effective organization where people can basically work towards the same goals. I think that's one of our main challenges at the moment, and probably a typical scale-up challenge as well. One that's super exciting and will continue to change shape when we grow 20 more and then 40 more after that. Well, I do have a couple of learnings. I'm not sure that they are specific enough for other people to learn from, but I can say, what did we have as a resource in that? So I think generally we have a candid culture where people can say what they think about how it's going. So that allows us to spot things that are not going well in the organization and in our workflows relatively fast. So we don't sit around waiting for further problems to arise. I think that openness is key. Where that specifically comes from, I could have many hypotheses about that, but keeping that open and candid culture is one thing. So we've been doing that through many ways of checking in on one-to-ones, surveys, and different feedback training mechanisms in our company to train people to give each other feedback, because sometimes, of course, it's not that easy to say this thing is not working so well. So that's definitely one side of how do we keep ourselves on track and how do we keep a healthy work pace and a healthy organization as well. Then on international talent attraction, I think we were, I don't know, it was probably a clever move. So I would like to give us credit for that. We decided that we could spend all our time finding the right talent, and we didn't want to do that. So our second hire was actually a hiring expert who has then been part of the executive team since then, building our organization on the talent side, but of course also on the broader people and culture side, which has been also a privilege to be able to have that resource to help us out and help the rest of the executive team to focus not on what is typically a super difficult thing, talent acquisition, but to focus on tech and business development instead. Well, I can't speak for everybody. I can speak for me and I can speak for our company mission. But what keeps the company, what founded the company and what keeps the company going is a vision to take sustainable energy and make it available all the time. So we know how to produce sustainable energy by now. We just don't know how to make sure that it's there when people need it. And that's where we see coal plants keeping turning on and things like this. But that's a super motivating thing, both as a societal transition in general. And then I think people have their individual versions of that. Some are really fascinated by the technical challenges. Some are more like, I need to do this for my kids and their kids. And some people are, I need to do this for European workplaces and European industry competitiveness. And to me, that part is growing on me, I would say. It started by being more of a high-level, personal sort of passion about making this possible to have a green transition. And now it's dawning on me that we can actually play a really key role in making European industry competitive again by bringing down the energy costs. So if I was to say a new type of motivation that's come in, it's about keeping European industry competitive. And that's what's driving our business development at the moment. Well, the Scaling Club for us was an opportunity that arose on the back of being accepted into the EIC accelerator tracks and the major grant from the European Innovation Council. And to us, it's several things, but one thing is the visibility to other startups at the same, in the same phase as us, basically, struggling in some ways with the same challenges, but all sector-specific and tech-specific, of course, but seeing that as an experience to share and a place to basically help each other out with information, network, but also just tips and tricks as to how to manage organizational challenges or tech setbacks or whatever else. I think that there's a huge resource there that we hope can be built up, and a culture of helping each other out when that's needed. Then on the investment side, on the capital side, a company like ours is very often on the outlook for capital. And that we would always like that to be a simpler process and a shorter process. So hopefully the Scaling Club can also provide a platform to orchestrate funding processes, or part of a funding process at least, because we will have increasing capital needs, and generally we would like to raise a bit more than we are able to, and hopefully with the ambition level behind the investors who've also joined into the Trusted Investors Network, we hope that that can sort of be able to push us a bit higher as well, and help us to keep our ambitions and setting them maybe also a level higher by having ambitious investors on the side.